welcome to Rathods Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 25th January 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. And actually tomorrow is Republic Day, and tomorrow which marks 75 years of adoption of our constitution. So many of our today's editorials are based on that. At last we are going to take one article and we are going to see some historical background of our constitution and what are the important ideals of our constitution, everything. So here, if you are writing this year prelims, guys, so you may expect question regarding preamble and as well as our values of the constitution. Everything is very important. So you have to be prepared well with that. So at least try to revise those topics twice or thrice. Okay, let us see the first article. So if you see the title, it says India-Indonesia set to discuss Myanmar conflict during talks. So as you all know that Indonesia is invited as guest for this Republic Day. So in this meet, we are going to have discussions between India and Indonesia. And the important topic here is about Myanmar conflict. Okay, let us see some important details regarding that. Okay, there is something which is going wrong. Okay, so this article is important. From your GS paper 2, you have to see India-Myanmar relations, and next one is India-Indonesia relations. So you have to see these two important things, that is India-Myanmar and India-Indonesia. So as you all know that Indonesia had been is one of the guests of our Republic Day celebrations. So here we are going to talk about important topic regarding this Myanmar. And not only Myanmar, there are other also important topics of discussions like Chinese increasing aggressiveness of expansion in this Indo-Pacific region, everything. So we are going to have in our discussions. So here just see about what happened in Myanmar. In Myanmar, we have political instability. And you have to see geography of Myanmar. Like what is the connection between India and Myanmar geography. So as you all know that some Indian states are sharing this boundary with this Myanmar. So which are those Indian states sharing boundary with Myanmar, you have to see. And you have to see about earlier, before this political instability, so what was the relationship between India and Myanmar. And you have to see how India can help Myanmar in this issue. So all these things that you have to think about. And next one here is you have to see about India-Indonesia relations, and you have to see geography of Indonesia, so where it is located, and even you have to see different groupings where Indonesia is part of, and you have to see different areas of cooperation between India and Indonesia, and you have to see what are the challenges between India and Myanmar and as well as India and Indonesia. So if you cover all these things, then your international relations area will be done. Okay, it is from your static. So now this article is in news, so we have to see what is happening in the dynamic perspective. So if you see the context, it says that there is ongoing conflict which is going on in Myanmar, and it is one of the central topic of discussion between India and Indonesia. So if you see here, this article is saying that we are prioritizing the dialogue with various factions. So there are a number of people or the stakeholders involved in the Myanmar. If you want to bring the solutions for Myanmar, we have to include each and every stakeholder in the talks so that we can get some resolution of this ongoing conflict. That is the thing they are focusing on. And who are the people or the stakeholders? They will be taken into consideration. So we have ethnic armed organizations, and even we have national unity government, and both the nations, that is India and Indonesia, they are aiming to mediate a peaceful resolution, okay, between these two things. And next one here is whenever we are involving, then we can understand that India is actively engaging in this kind of issues, and India wants to come up with a solution with our neighboring countries' problems. And even India is holding a significant power, and India can influence the different regions as well. So through this we can understand these points. And this one here is the mention of South China Sea is also one important area where we are going to discuss. So it also highlights about the interconnected nature of Southeastern Asian geopolitics. So if you want to talk about Southeastern nations, obviously we have to talk about even their challenges. One important common enemy of these nations is China. So because of Chinese expansionist aggressive policy, and as well as Chinese nine-dash line, and as well as artificial islands and even island disputes like Partly Islands, Spratly Island, Parts Island, and Scarborough Islands. Okay, so that is one important thing, and especially there are increasing of tensions in this region, particularly regarding territorial claims, and even there is increasing of Chinese military presence in this area also. So here we have to focus on regional security, and we have to focus on even Myanmar stability. So these are the two important areas of concern. And next important here is, yes, Indonesia is part of Asian. So here this article is saying that even Myanmar, okay, Myanmar crisis which is going on, right? So here Asia need to take some steps, and Asia needs to come up with some constructive solutions, okay? And next one here is, because of increasing of Chinese aggressiveness and because of increasing of political instability in the nations, then what happened? Obviously, it will be having some geopolitical implications. So we have to take care of that. Okay, we have to take some steps so that we can counterbalance Chinese expansionism. Okay, next one here is, this article is saying that yes, we have to take some long-term vision, long-term strategy for peace and as well as development in this region. So here both India and Indonesia, they are seeming to contribute it, especially they are committed for fostering an environment of a dialogue where we are going to discuss some issues between the nations so that at least there will be some chance of getting these issues resolved. So all these things are very important. And now let us see next topic. So here this article is saying that one temple in UP gets FCRA nod without request. And this temple is Banke Bihari temple. So here you may get a question like, recently one temple in UP got FCRA status without a request. So which of the following temple is that? So that is nothing but Banke Bihari temple. So the keyword here is Banke Bihari temple. And second keyword is FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So there are two keywords. First one is temple, second one is FCRA. So where you will be studying about these temples? So in GS paper 1, we have history. In this history, we have art and culture. So in this art and culture, you will be studying about this temple architecture. You have a separate chapter on this temple architecture. So where you will be studying about different types of architecture. We have Nagara style, we have Dravidian style, and we have Vesra style. So we have normally three styles of temple architecture. So if you see region wise, so in North India, we have Nagara style of temple architecture. And in South India, we have this Dravidian types of temple architecture. In between, we have Vesara type of temple architecture. So from that point of view, you'll be studying about different temples and their architecture. And here in this Nagara and Dravida and West also, we have further subtypes during which kingdom they had been developed. It is based on that. Okay, so here you have to say about what is this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So why this permission given to this temple? So if they are getting this permission, then what is advantage for that temple? So all these things that you need to know. And now let us see the context why it is in use. So if you see context, it says that Union Home Ministry granted registration under FCRA, that is Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010, to famous Banke Bihari temple. And where it is located? So this temple is located in UP's Vrindavan. Okay, now after getting this permission from FCRA, then now this temple is eligible for even receiving foreign funds for religious activities. Okay, now let us see some important details. So now Banke Bihari temple is presently owned and managed by a hereditary community. So which is that community? That is Sevayat Goswami priest and as well as Saraswat Brahmins, and they are descendants of Swami Haridas. And this person who built that temple, So here these people, they are maintaining this temple right now, and this temple had been built like 550 years ago. Okay, and now it got FCRA registration. So FCRA registration is very much mandatory for NGOs if they want to get foreign funds. Okay, now let us see some facts regarding this temple. So this temple is situated in town of Vrindavan in Mathura district in UP. So this temple is dedicated to Banke Bihari. So he is believed that he is a combination of Radha and Krishna. Okay, so Banke Bihari was originally worshipped at this Nidhivan Vrindavan, and later on this temple was constructed by Banke Bihar. Around 1864. From then onwards, we are worshipping this idol as Banke Bihari, and this is the image of Radha and Krishna united form in Tribanga posture. So whenever you are studying about these dance forms, especially in Odissi dance form, one important famous position that we can see in that dance form is Tribanga. Tribanga is nothing but body is divided into three parts like that. Okay, so body is bended in these three parts. That is a very famous posture that we can see in Odissi dance. Okay, so this Tribanga posture that we can see in this idol of this Banke Bihari. Okay, now if you see some facts regarding this FCRA Act we came up in year 1976. At that time, what was significant event in our country? Emergency. During emergency time, especially whenever we are getting foreign contributions or foreign funds, they will be having impact on our political things, right? So to ensure political stability and there is no influence of foreign countries on our country, at that time government enacted this law in year 1976. Okay, so under this here, this act why government came up, it is to regulate foreign donations to individuals and as well as associations. Okay, so that there will be no impact on the foreigners on our country's democracy, everything. So if you see about this registration under this FCRA, it is essential for receiving foreign donations in India, and even this is granted to individuals or associations who are engaged in various areas of work. For example, if you are doing culture work or like economic, educational, and even if you are doing service or social programs or religious programs, then you are eligible for that, and you have to apply for that. And one more thing here is you have to open the bank account in SBI branches only in Delhi so that you can receive the foreign funds. Okay, and after once you're getting permission, so if that permission is ended, then you can go for renewal of your FCRA. Okay, now let us see the next article. So this article says Pralay, India's first quasi-ballistic missile to be showcased at Republic Day parade. So if you are interested, so try to watch this parade. And this Republic Day is very special because we will be having different tableau. So on this tableau also you will be getting questions in your prelims and as well as mains. So which state of our country is representing what? So you have to know that. That will be very interesting. So watch this Republic Day parade for sure. Don't miss it. And now let us see this article. It is talking about Pralay. So you may get a question regarding, consider the following statements regarding Pralay, and they may give 2 to 3 statements, and you have to identify which are the correct or incorrect statements. And this topic is important from Science and Technology, which comes under GS paper 3. Now let us see this article in detail. So this Pralay, it is an indigenously developed short-range ballistic surface-to-surface missile. That means it can be launched to surface so that it will be targeting the targets on the land itself. That is called a surface-to-surface missile. And it's ballistic. Ballistic means it will be following this parabolic path. So this Pralay, which had been developed indigenously by DRDO, that is Defense Research and Development Organization, and it is based on Prithvi Defense Vehicle. Okay, and it has been developed for deployment along our LAC and as well as LOC region, that is along line of actual control and as well as along line of control. So what are the important features of this Pralay? It is powered by solid propellant rocket motor. And what is the missile range? So missile range is 150 to 500 kilometers. And what is the capacity of a payload? So payload can be placed up to 1000 kg. Okay, and it can carry traditional warheads, and as well as this is equipped with the guidance system, and this guidance system will be having circular error probable which is less than 10 meters. And what is the speed of this? The speed is around 6 Mach. Okay, and let us see the next article. If you see this title, it says Odisha tops Niti Physical Health Index, Chhattisgarh next best. So whenever you are getting this kind of indices, it will be very useful to substantiate your answer in your mains. And you can write these points in introduction or about this report in conclusion, and even you can use them in your essay. So this article is important from GS paper to under governance point, because in governance you have this topic called as health, where you can use this report, and try to make a note of this report in your governance notes. Okay, now let us see here what this article is talking about clearly. So here this article is saying that mineral rich Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Goa and Jharkhand, they have emerged as top performing achievers among the state listed Niti Aayog's first physical health index. So Niti Aayog came up with first ever health index report, and in this report Odisha is ranking first, second is Chhattisgarh, third is Goa and fourth is Jharkhand. So now let us see some important facts regarding this. So here Niti Aayog's first physical health index report, which mainly says that Odisha is topping and second one is Chhattisgarh. So here around 18 states they had been, there are around 18 major states they had been analyzed. And what are the parameters on which the analysis is done? First one is economic contributions, how much they are contributing towards health. Next one is how much expenditure they are doing. And next one is what are the revenues, and as well as what is the overall physical stability of the states. So based on this indicators, so they came up with these rankings. And Odisha's score is around 67.8, so that it got the first rank. So it says that yes, they are having well suitable physical policies, so that they are also prioritizing surplus amount to this health. Okay, first important point here is what is the score of Odisha, who topped one. And next one here is, even this report says that states like Odisha and Chhattisgarh, they are also mobilizing non-tax revenues. So whatever the non-tax revenues which states are getting, even they are diverting them to this health. So that what happens? So there is increasing of physical health. And the next one here is revenue mobilization. So whenever we are mobilizing the revenue, so some states like West Bengal, some states like Andhra Pradesh, so they are also having lots of challenges, and they are like not focusing on the tax policies or not focusing on the revenue generation, everything which is happening. And actually this article which is talking about physical health. Okay, physical health is nothing but about the money in the states, how the revenue they are getting, how they are spending. So what about tax revenues, what about the non-tax revenues, so whether there is increasing of debt or not. So especially in Telugu states like AP and Telangana, so they are having high debt. So that means they are not performing very well in this physical health. Okay, and next one is the overall expenditure is also very important. Odisha, which is having like quality of expenditure, so where they are spending very good, and you're spending in the priority areas, there is no wastage of money that is happening in Odisha. But that is not the case, it is happening in other states. Okay, so it is also one important reason why it is getting some physical health. Okay, so next article, see this guys. Study finds link between smartphone use and as well as mental health of adolescents. So here it is nothing but it is very simple, which is saying that whenever your screen time is increasing, obviously it will be having issues on your mental, that is mental status. So here this article is saying that especially the survey had been done in over like 10,000 people who are between age of 13 to 17 years, and these are the people who are surveyed from India and as well as US. And they find that yes, there is interlinkage between using of phones or mobiles and as well as increasing of mental disabilities. So here in this paragraph, they said clearly about what are the problems they are getting. Okay, let me see. So here, this report said that uh, there is increasing of aggression in the adolescents. Aggression is nothing but like anger, etc. And next one is anger, anxiety, irritability, hallucinations. So they are increasing because of increasing of using of more mobiles or increasing of screen times. Okay, and even there is also impact is more in males than compared to the females. Okay, so that is the one more thing which mainly said. Yeah, that is the thing. Okay, see, if you are writing about any answer regarding technology and its implications, so you can use the study as one of the negative impact. So whenever there is increasing of screen time, obviously it is having impact on the mental health of the people. Okay, let us see the next article. So I took one article from your editorial which talks about foundational values, the journey of Indian state. So this article is talking about 75th anniversary of this constitution which came into effect. So you may get lots of the questions regarding constitution. So what is the historical perspective for constitution? So what happens in our constituent assembly debates about constitution, and from which countries we copied which provisions? On this also you may get question, and you may get question on preamble for sure. So this article is important from your GS paper 2 under polity, and you may get both prelims and also mains based question here. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. So on 75th anniversary of Constitution of India, it is essential to reflect the foundational values that have shaped the nation. So if you see about our historical context, our Constitution of India was born in the context of colonial rule. And the important aim of our constitution, it is to establish a democratic framework. So in that democratic framework, where we have to ensure every individual have their fundamental rights. So fundamental rights should be protected. So this is one of the important idea of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And next one here is we also adopted constitution not just as a legal formality, but even we have a commitment to uphold important values like equality, fraternity, liberty, etc. So that we can have a good social fabric of our country. And next one here is now we are having some challenges in our country. Those challenges are questions and debates regarding federalism. So federalism is nothing but proper sharing of powers between state and as well as center. So many times center will be intervening in the state's issues. So because of this, there are lots of debates regarding cooperative federalism which are there in our news. So while constitution does not explicitly mention about federalism, so our constitution says that it is quasi-federalism, right? So we are having the both the blend of unitary and as well as federal structure of the constitution. So what are the tussles which are there between the state governors and as well as elected governments? So here we have to come up with a mechanism to resolve those issues. For example, recently issues are happening in Tamil Nadu governor and CM, and even Delhi governor and as well as CM. So like that. So here, and even we are going to come with the census 2025 data. So whenever we are getting census, again we'll go for delimitation. That is, we are going for redrawing of the boundaries. So if you're going with that also, that will further exacerbate the tensions. So we need to control them. And next one is even regarding language also, lots of critical concerns which are there in our country about representation of language and as well as inclusivity of language. So we have to go for multilingual equality. So it is very important for a federal structure. Okay, and next important point which mainly said that critics are arguing that whatever the current government which is adopted some measures, they are eroding our democratic principles. That is creating an environment that resembles like a police state. For example, there is increased use of sedition law and even anti-terror legislations. So here we need to come up with a balance between our national security and as well as civil liberties. So that is the one important point which had been reflected in this article. And even here this article is saying that there is increasing of socio-economic inequality every day. Day by day there is increasing of socio-economic inequality, and even there is increasing of caste-based discrimination, socio-economic disparities. So because of all these things, there is undermining of our constitutional promise of equality, and we have to examine whether this fraternity has been fostered with our social or political movements. So we have to come up with a proper landscape. So there even are marginalized sections of people, they are becoming inclusive. And next one here is there is also increasing of issues with the caste. So some are saying that we have to go for even subdivision in this SC and as well as ST. Some saying that no, we can't. So like that, even what are the caste based considerations are there. So we have to take even meritocracy into consideration. And finally, we have to neutralize this caste based considerations as well. So if you are addressing all these challenges, of course, we can promote social justice and as well as equality in our society, okay, rather than increasing of conflicts. So these are the some important things which are mainly said in this article. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and please do like this class and share this class, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathods Academy.